shot for more. Magnificent.
One of the greatest days in Bangladesh cricket history.
Given that a crunch. What a cracking stroke too.
And Afghanistan have won the most historic encounter in Dunedin.
New Zealand goes wild. They're making the trip for the big prize. Oh, he's done it on the cracker.
What a game of cricket we've seen.
Good afternoon, everybody, media and guests. Thank you very much for coming. Welcome to the ICC Men's Cricket World Cup 2019 Captain Media's Day. My name is Mark Chapman. I'm going to guide you through the proceedings over the next hour or so. And for those of you who aren't from the UK or even aren't from London and don't know this area, we are very close to an iconic UK sporting venue in Hackney Marshes, just a stone's throw away from here. And that is the home, really, of London's grassroots sporting scene. Within a mile of here, there are 10 local cricket clubs, there are 3 new grass cricket pitches and 5 artificial wickets, as well as a newly funded ECB pavilion. So in this area, cricket is thriving. And today we're proud to welcome some local school children and the next generation of talent, we hope, to meet their heroes. So they will be walking down with the captains very shortly. This cricket background, combined with the rich diversity of the local community, has provided us with the perfect location to talk about what we hope is going to be an exciting and progressive and truly inclusive global cricket event that is going to bring communities together, not just here in the UK, but around the world as well. So we are ready to bring on the captains of the 10 competing nations at the ICC Men's Cricket World Cup 2019. A message to them up there: please come down those stairs carefully. There's a long month ahead for you. They're going to come down one by one with a local school child as well, bringing them down. So let's get ready to welcome the captains. First up, from England, please welcome Eoin Morgan.
Morgan goes sweetly long and straight. But Morgan looks at his best when he's aggressive.
Next, from India, Virat Kohli. From Pakistan, Sarfraz Ahmed.
Good catch for Sarfraz behind the stumps. What a game he's having. 2 sixes in a row. He's got some talent, some class, this boy.
Next up, the captain of Afghanistan, Gulbadin Naib.
Oh, beautifully bowled. He's got the nick.
An excellent reserve for Afghanistan.
The West Indies captain, Jason Holder.
Oh, a beauty. This is great stuff from the big skipper. Nice and straight, top of the stumps.
Representing Bangladesh, their captain, Mortaza.
Mortaza has picked up another wicket, so this is fantastic beginning by Bangladesh. What a performance it has been for him with the ball.
And the Australian captain is Aaron Finch.
Strength, power from Aaron Finch. Tickled fine, and Aaron Finch goes through to 100 on his home ground. What a day.
The South African captain, plesis.
Here comes plesis in the stands. 6 runs. The raise of the arms, 100 off 103 balls.
Two more to come. The captain of Sri Lanka, Dimuth Karunaratne.
Excellent shot. Rocked back, punched away for 4.
And the New Zealand captain is Kane Williamson. So we'll ask a couple of questions to get going. We've got the school kids who might want to ask a question as well. And then if anybody else wants to ask a question, if you just put your hand up, we will get somebody with a microphone towards you and you can ask a question to any of the captains. I want to start with the... My God, this is low down. I want to start with the battle between holders and hosts. Who are the favourites, holders or hosts?
Well, it's a good question. I think England have been in great form over the last couple of years, and along with India, they've probably been the standout performances. So you'd have to say England are definitely the favourites.
You've got a lot of experience, though, but particularly backroom staff as well, coming into this.
Yeah, I think it's important that some guys that have got that World Cup experience and having, I think, 6 players who have been a part of a winning World Cup will hold us in good stead going forward, hopefully. But it's a different tournament. Once you get out and start playing, the pressure takes over, so it'll be a great tournament, though.
So are you the favourites as hosts?
I've got no idea. I think there are a number. I don't think there's anybody that's head and shoulders above everybody else. I think in a 10-team World Cup, the 10 best teams in the world, it's going to be extraordinarily competitive tournament, and I think there's be some quality cricket played. So we're really looking forward to it.
Does it change the dynamic when you are the host, and there is no doubt going to be more attention on you when you're in your own country?
Oh, of course it will. I think for us, it's called home advantage for a reason. We get to spend a lot of time in our own beds. We get to see a lot of our family and prepare like we have done for a number of years now. But England's a great place to come and play cricket. You ask any of these guys or any of their players, they love coming here and playing.
Is there, this may seem a ridiculous question to you, Virat, but is there less pressure on you when you aren't playing at home?
Yeah, we have both our warm-up games televised already, so not much pressure on the Indian team wherever they play. But yeah, look, there's always going to be a huge fan base for us anywhere we play in the world. But yeah, I have to agree with Aaron. I think England is probably, in their conditions, the most strong side in this tournament. But I also agree with Moggs that all 10 teams are so well-balanced and so strong. And the fact that this is a tournament where we have to play every team once makes it all the more challenging. And I think that's going to be the best thing about this tournament. And I see this as probably one of the most competitive World Cups that people are going to see.
There's quite a lot of other captains nodding, actually, about how balanced it is. Sarfraz, you were nodding there. You think it will be a very balanced tournament between the 10 of you?
Yeah, definitely. As Morgan and Kohli said, all teams are really balanced. They all are make a good team. So I think wish them all the very best. And people watch, I think, great cricket here.
I mean, Virat mentioned the conditions and English conditions. That suited Pakistan back in the Champions Trophy in 2017. So how much do you draw on that experience?
Definitely, if you see a past record of Pakistan in England, since 92, of talking about the Test series, or 2009 World Cup, or 99 World Cup, or 2017. So Pakistan past record has very good in England. So we are very confident we will do well, inshallah, in this World Cup.
Dimuth, what are you saying to your Sri Lankan squad ahead of this tournament? What are your words of motivation to them?
Yeah, I think we played a good cricket.
Oh, your microphone isn't working at the moment. Should we see?
Johnny is mine.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well,
Yeah, I think.
Oh, that's not working either. Try again.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we played lots of cricket last few years. I think we have great experience in England as well. So we try to do our best. We came early to get some confidence and get used to the conditions. I think we were in good shape. We are trying to do our best.
Given the fact that your microphone's working, I'll come to you next, Kane. And the experiences of New Zealand from 4 years ago compared to now and how that might help.
Yeah, there were a few guys that were in the last World Cup, which is great, so there is some experience there. But naturally, with 4 years in between tournaments, there is a lot of new players as well. So I guess there's been a lot of talk around rankings, favourites, underdogs. I think the thing that stands out is how balanced all the teams are, and when it comes to the day, anything can happen, which makes way for a really exciting competition.
Why do you think it is so balanced? Do you think it's because of the growth of global games and global leagues, which pits the best against the best, which, you know, has grown over the last decade, really?
Yeah, if you look at international cricket right around the circuit now, you'll see very close competitive series home and away. You know, there's not just more home series are dominating right through the league stages of the season. So, yeah, like the other captains are saying, I think all of us are really excited to try out this new tournament. When you're playing everyone once, I think it's a great format.
Let's get a couple of questions. We've got, some of the kids have got a question, I think. Who's got the first question?
Welcome to London. My dad says that cricket is coming home in 2019. How cool would it be to play in the World Cup finals at Lord's?
Owen?
Extremely cool. I think every captain sitting on the couch here would lose their left leg to play in that final. To play in a World Cup final at the home of cricket would be something that everybody here would have dreamt about as a kid.
Have you thought about the World Cup final yet, Jason, or is it one game at a time?
I guess it's just one game at a time, you know. We've just come here to play some really solid cricket. I think everybody's highlighted how level the playing field could be, and you know, cricket is a game that's played on the day. So I just think when we come here and everybody's up for the task, and everybody knows the importance of the competition, and it's just a matter of who plays the best cricket throughout this tournament.
You're nodding, Gulbadin.
Yes.
Yes. What are you expecting from the crowds here?
It's excited to be here in the front of the old cricket, and also in the front of the top 10 teams. So very excited, and hopefully we do will be best cricket and presenting Afghanistan on such a good stage. So inshallah we will do the best cricket here.
Just going back, Mashraf, to the development and the game growing and it becoming more even. I think since, I've got a stat here, since the last World Cup in 2015, Bangladesh won 9 ODI series. So that shows the development for you guys.
Yeah, obviously. I think we got a great bunch of boys. I mean, we got a good mixed up with seniors, and you know, the juniors cricketers come in and they played really exciting cricket all over the part in the bed. They perform like, you know, last series we playing in Ireland. They played so well. Hopefully we'll do really well in, you know, first match in playing in 2nd June against Puff. So hopefully we'll start well.
Will they?
I hope
not. But and the serious point of that is that you must have seen the mentality of players change over the last 4 years, and the belief that you can beat any of these guys sitting up here.
Yeah, obviously, you know, cricket is some game that, you know, in a day you can beat anybody, you know, especially a team like us, you know, if you start well, we can hang in there. So we are pretty much confident that we can beat, but depends then, no, everything is depend on starting, so hopefully we'll start well.
Let's see if anybody out in the audience has got a question. It's quite dark out there, so I'm going to need some help from the volunteers. If you've got a gentleman there.
Hi, my question is from Sarfraz. Sarfraz, we've seen 2 years back in Champions Trophy that in spite of all the not so good performance, you grabbed the Champions Trophy. And what do you think about this time? My first question is, do you regret the idea to play 5 matches against England? And what about the morale of the boys in the team after this series?
No, I don't think so. We are regret to play 5 ODIs. I think it's a good practice for us, and we had played lots of good quality cricket here. So I think morale was very high for my team, and we are ready to play World Cup, and we are really hopeful to play good cricket here.
Did you learn a lot from those warm-up matches?
Yes, definitely. You know, I think this is not a warm-up match. We play a top quality cricket, I mean, a top quality of side. So we have learned a lot. You know, if you take up, either we lost the series, but we take very positive things, just like our batting performing very well. So we are working with the fielding very hard in this at the moment. So hopefully we will do well as a team, inshallah.
What did you learn from those warm-up matches?
A huge amount. Certainly going into the series against Pakistan, having looked back at 2017 Champions Trophy, by far and away Pakistan were the best team in that tournament. So we know how dangerous they can be on any given day. So turning up to every game knowing that they can produce a performance that's good enough to beat anybody in the world was a huge motivation for us. It was obviously a high-scoring series and a very hard-fought series as well.
Speaking of high scoring, what do you think? I'll come to you, Aaron, first. What do you think the highest score could be at this World Cup?
Well, that's a great question. I think if you look over the last couple of years at the trajectory that scores have gone in this country in one-day cricket, they've been going up and up. We've been on the receiving end of the highest one. So I don't want to put a number on it because it's going to be so hard to tell. With some games on some pretty good wickets, on some pretty small grounds, I think that if top orders get going, teams are so explosive these days, and they continue to keep going through the 50 overs. It could be anything.
Could it be 500?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I was just going to say it really depends on how these boys get up in the morning and come to play, because they seem to be obsessed with getting to 500 before anyone else. They just come and smash from ball one up till 50 overs. So, yeah, look, it could be pretty high scoring, but, you know, this back home we had a press conference and they asked this question as well. But I said, look, 260, 270 is going to be as difficult to get in a World Cup as, you know, chasing 380 or 370. I don't see many high-scoring games happening at the later half of the tournament. Yeah, initially some teams might get on a roll, but you'll see 250 defended as well. That's the kind of pressure the World Cup brings.
Why would it go smaller when you get to the latter stages? Why could it go? Why might it not be as free-flowing with the bats?
Well, look, it really depends on, not all the teams are going to be in a great position. So the ones that sort of have to make sure that they get the result are the ones that are going to be under pressure to chase even a small score down. So I think it's just the fact that you're going to get closer to the knockout stages is what's going to bring more pressure in the later half of the tournament. And I think all the teams recognize that. No one's going to go gung-ho, you know, right from ball one. In pressure games in a World Cup, you might get a team that just goes on a roll, but I think generally both teams would like to start in a balanced way and then find their way into the game and look to capitalize when the moment comes in. So I see the pressure playing a massive factor in the second half.
Do you feel sorry for the bowlers?
No.
No.
I mean, we've spoken a lot about the batting, but of equal importance is the bowling attacks and how they operate in order to restrict perhaps some of those bigger totals. Maybe in the first half of the comp where there may be some more free-flow play, but also we're playing on a number of similar grounds where wickets and blocks may deteriorate a little bit as well. And there are so many matches that whether some are more suited to the bat, I have no doubt that there'll be some more suited to the ball. So everybody has a role to play, and it's important, I guess, we're all hoping that we all stick together as sides to try and navigate our way through the tournament.
I mean, do you all have to, and I know some of you do bowl as well, do you all have to work hard as captains to keep the morale of the bowlers up?
Yeah, I think we all need to do that because it's not easy. When you see the last England-Pakistan series, everyone scoring 350 runs. So we have to, keep morale up the bowlers. It's not going to be easy enough, but you have to, find out some way to get them all out or reduce under 300 runs.
Paf?
Same question?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, as the guy said, your bowling attack and the kind of wicket takers that you do have in your resources is going to be very important for us as the captains. And there's few X-factor bowlers in every single team that's going to play a pivotal role in making sure that your team is successful as not. But yeah, with good wickets comes boundaries, so you just got to make sure you keep the boys nice and calm.
Let's see if we've got the gentleman on the front row.
Thank you. My question is Pakistan and Indian captain Sarfraz and Kohli. Yes, indeed, all matches are very important for all teams, but especially Pakistan versus India match is very, very important, and people are very much excited, and they are looking at tickets, but unfortunately they could not find it. And you will both place in very high level pressure. What do you say on that, please?
Do you get tickets?
I already changed my WhatsApp. I already changed my WhatsApp number very soon.
I think, look, India-Pakistan is always a very, very anticipated match, but we keep saying this again and again. If you ask the players, it's very different from how the fans look at the game compared to how the players play it. Yes, you feel the anticipation and you feel the excitement of the fans when you enter the stadium, but as soon as you step onto the field, it's professional, you know, a bowler trying to execute his skills, a batsman trying to execute his skills to the best of their potential, and for us, it's just another game that you need to win as a team. Yes, it brings pressure because the atmosphere in the stadium is very different, and as I said, you only experience that till the time you start, you know, competing in the game. As soon as you get into it, then at the end of the day, it's a game of cricket for all of us. I know we keep saying this again and again, but that's the truth. That's all, you know, all the cricketers, I'm sure from both the sides feel that as soon as you start playing the game, it eventually is a game of bat and ball, and, you know, that's what you need to focus on.
My answer also the same. Nothing. No difference.
But when the fixtures come out, because you all play each other, is that the first one you looked at to see when you would play Pakistan, or is there another fixture you look at first?
Not really. I mean, in the World Cup, you obviously, I think all the teams must have looked at the first 4 or 5 games that they're going to play, because we're going to play 9. So you prepare accordingly as a side. If the first phase is going to be, you know, how you're going to prepare for different sides, because all the teams would have looked at first 4 games maybe, or, you know, break it down accordingly, however they feel like. So I don't think we single out any game, as I said, because all 10 teams are strong, and on their day they can beat anyone. And as I said, that's the most exciting part of the tournament, and that's something that we have spoken about as a side, that if we focus on playing good cricket, you know, just about us as a side, if we play good cricket, I think we're going to be in a good position in the tournament. If you keep focusing on too much here and there, then, you know, there's too many things to focus on because the teams are so strong. So I'm sure every team would want to focus on their skills and then turn up on the day and hopefully have that skill set better than the opposition.
Jason, does that make the format change and the fact that everybody plays each other? How does that work? Does that make it more, again, going back to the balance thing?
I think it's very exciting. You know, previously you would come in a World Cup and you play 5-6 games in the preliminary stage, and I guess if you make it through to the knockouts, then you have a few more. But I guess it's a good spectacle now to having playing all these sides in the World Cup. You know, you work hard for World Cup, and now with the qualifiers being brought into the fold, now you qualifying, so there's top 10 teams into it. So you would want to play all the teams and give yourself a fair shot at winning the World Cup. And I guess anybody who's lifting the World Cup at the end of it, you know, would be well deserving of it.
Is that when you looked at the order of the fixtures, was there one fixture that you looked for first?
No, not really.
No?
You know, I just say you look at the first half of the tournament, you try to focus on narrowing on those first few games, and then you move deeper into the competition.
Did you look to see when you play them?
No, not really. Look, it's very much the same. It's one game at a time, and you're playing at a number of different grounds, so there are so many different parts to it that you need to address before getting any further ahead than just the game that's in front of you.
Leave that to the fans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Question to Mr. Kohli. Mr. Kohli, in most sports there is usually unity amongst the players. Why is that you do not play against Pakistan in your respective countries? What's the reason?
That's not a question for me to answer. I think it's about the cricket boards giving you that answer. We don't hold the authority to speak about these things in press conferences. My personal opinion doesn't matter.
Okay, we have, yeah.
Question for Aaron. Aaron, hi. How would you sum up the mood of Warner and Smith on the eve of the competition? What kind of reception do you think they get from cricket fans here? And also, is there any truth in the idea that Warner's concerned about his security in the UK?
Sorry, I just missed the last bit of that question.
Is there any truth in the suggestion that Warner may be concerned about his security here in the UK?
No, certainly not that I'm aware of. Since they've come back into the the squad and the setup in the last couple of weeks. They've been fantastic. They've contributed as much as they can. Their morale's been unbelievable. Obviously, once the World Cup gets underway and we start to get into the tournament, particularly probably games against England, and then further on past this tournament with the Ashes, no doubt that the crowds will start to play a bit of a part, but that's expected. That no matter where you go in the world, the fans play a huge part in it. So no doubt that personally and as an organisation we've got things in place for that, but their input and output with their runs they've been making in the lead up to this tournament has been fantastic.
Where's the microphone's there? Yeah.
Hi, Virat. I know you're often the key wicket that most teams look for in the batting lineup, but how do you feel about being called out by Jofra Archer as the wicket that he wants to take most in this World Cup? And what have you made of his emergence as an international bowler of real potential?
Did he say that? I have no idea. Okay, so that's news to me.
News to me.
News to Mongs as well. Okay, well look, as we don't really focus on these things, even as a individual, you don't really focus on whether people want to get you out or you're being spoken about more or things like that. Our focus is mainly to contribute to the team in whatever way possible, and I take a lot of pride in performing for the team and making impact performances every game. So if Jofra said that, it's a big compliment because he himself is a world-class bowler, and the way he's come about in the IPL the last couple of years, I've seen him and playing all around the world. There's good reason why he's been fast-tracked into playing for England in a tournament like World Cup. So I think he's probably going to be their X factor because he holds a skill set which is very different from anyone else. He can generate a lot of pace which can be intimidating, and you don't really expect that because of his run-up and but the way he's built, he's just a great athlete, and I'm sure the England team is delighted to have him as well. But he's going to be pretty exciting to watch in the World Cup. I personally would be watching his bowling as well because whatever I've seen of him, he's been very, very impressive.
Following on from that, do you think Virat described him as having the X factor? Do you see him as having the X factor? And in your time of captaining him so far, what has surprised you about him?
Nothing has surprised me about him. He's come in and performed exactly how he has been around the world. He's impressive in all three, I suppose, parts of a 50-over game. He gives you an option in different areas, and obviously has that extra bit of pace as well. So he is exciting.
And is it putting pressure on him to describe him as the X factor, or would he relish that?
No, it's a huge opportunity. The guy's very young, very ambitious, very confident, wants to play international cricket for England, and that's extremely exciting. He's at the very start of his international career. It so happens it's the start of a World Cup and Ashes year that he could potentially have a lot of time playing. So, if everybody started here in such a big year like that and had a huge opportunity, it's extremely exciting.
Let's take another question if you've got the microphone.
My question is from Mr. Sarfraz. 1992 and now is 2019. Will you repeat the history to become a Prime Minister of Pakistan?
What a good question.
Definitely will try our level best to win the World Cup here, but I don't know about my future.
Yes.
Question for Virat. What did your team learn from the recent series loss to Australia, and did that change your perception of them going to the World Cup at all?
I think the one thing we learned, and all of us were standing at the presentation, and the one thing we spoke about, and I spoke to Stoin as well when we played in the IPL, was the fact that if a team on a given day gets together against a very experienced side and they just believe more that they can win against all the odds, it can be achieved. And I think that's the learning we got from that series that we played. Being 2-0 up, we thought we're definitely going to win 1 out of 3. But they showed more passion, more character, and more determination than us in the small moments. And they enjoyed every moment as a side, which we took a lot of learning from. So you play anyone in this World Cup, you will need to have that passion and that commitment. Otherwise, the other team's going to get one over you. So that was our learning from that particular series that we lost to Australia.
And what did you learn from that series?
Yeah, exactly the opposite. Just no matter what happens in a series, if you keep hanging in there and believe that when you get to the big moments that you can create something, against such an experienced side who's been together for a long time now, it can be quite a daunting challenge. And I think in the past, when we've been 1-0, 2-0 down, it can almost have a deflated impact on your side, and you can go in there expecting to lose a series and just trying to compete in small parts. So the ability for our players, the belief that we got out of that series to, I suppose, just keep hanging in no matter what the situation. If you keep having a crack, you can turn momentum, and you can change momentum in a game so quick that you just have to keep producing day after day. Because if you, like Virat said, if you take any team in this World Cup lightly, you'll get beaten on the day. There's no doubt about that. And that, with the structure of the tournament, I think it's fantastic that you play everyone, so the absolute best team of the World Cup will win it.
But also, Virat mentioned that they'd learn to enjoy the moments by seeing you enjoy the moments, and sometimes enjoyment can get forgotten in elite sport by all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the reason we play it as kids, because we love playing the game, and at times you can probably lose sight of that when wins and losses start to take over that thinking. So for us, it was about enjoying each other's company and enjoying each other's success. I think that was such a huge part of it. Just taking every opportunity to really soak up the atmosphere, and playing cricket in India, it doesn't get much better than that. The support and the passion, the crowds, the scrutiny, everything that comes with playing in India is an amazing experience, and something that everyone's very grateful for when you get the opportunity to. So it's just about trying to do it day in, day out.
So the guy here said his hand just there.
Kane, just a question. How much of a challenge is it to bring the team together? I think, you haven't played an ODI for a couple of months, and the boys have been off playing the IPL and that sort of thing, quite a short turnaround from preparation. And then just secondly, with Tom Latham, whether you expect him to be fit for your opening match in Cardiff?
Yeah, so firstly, Tom, I guess. He won't be involved in the first two warm-up games, but we're hoping he progresses nice and quickly, and we'll have to address it as the days go by, but we are hoping that he can progress quickly. Sorry, the first one? What was the first question? Oh, the preparation. Yeah, I guess the nature of having a tournament the other side of the world, where it's your different season, meant that we perhaps didn't have some of the, much like number of other teams, have our domestic comps going on, or series within our own countries where you are getting some of that one-day cricket. But that is the nature of the beast, and guys have been involved in IPL. We did have a series in Australia where there were a few warm-up matches there that were really beneficial to the guys involved in that. And to a degree, it is the nature of just the international game, where it's constantly evolving, ever moving, where you're either changing formats or you're playing cricket in all different countries, and you're trying to prepare mentally as well as you can, whilst looking ahead at the fixtures coming up. So obviously a significant tournament in the calendar, one that the team's really excited for, and the preparation has been different for each, but we are looking forward to the two warm-up games that we have prior to going into the World Cup.
So more and more, because it's so disparate and everybody's around the world, you have to trust the individual more to be on their game when they arrive.
Yeah, I mean, there's always that individual component, but I do think when you come to certainly tournament sport, probably in any sport, where you want to see the team come together as a collective, and I think that's the best way to build momentum in a tournament, and I know that's what every team will be looking for. And for us, it's been great to get together for the last few days. Like it's been mentioned, we haven't played together for a couple of months, but we're not the only ones in that boat, and the guys are really excited to be back in camp, which is really refreshing, and looking forward to the challenges that we have coming up.
Right, question for Gulbadin. How important is your appearance at a World Cup for Afghanistan, and why is cricket such a huge thing and so important for you as a country?
Definitely. If you look last 30-40 years in Afghanistan, is what's going on there. So it's one thing in Afghanistan here is only cricket now. It's a huge sport there now. It's the first sport in Afghanistan now. So they they get, together the people and giving hope to the people of Afghanistan is one thing I think is a cricket of there. So that's why I'm very excited to be here to lead my team and lead my country in the front of the whole world. So, and one thing is more important for Afghanistan is now recently is a peace. So I think cricket is one of the part of that. So I'm very happy, inshallah, that there's not too much fraud, so we can take the peace, and we can, this kind of teams will be participating some of tournaments there, like this kind of big mega event. So I'm very excited to be here.
Oh, and when you are playing games here, what will be the reaction back home?
Yeah, people are very excited. They are back home. They not this kind of games we playing here. Even in district tournaments, there, club tournaments, there's a huge audience there coming around villages and districts, provinces. They cheering because only thing in Afghanistan is only sports is cricket now. So not even they support Afghanistan. Most of players are, most of cricketers sitting here, they support a lot of, like especially Virat and Morgan. There's a huge fans there. So cricket is not a sport there, it's something else in Afghanistan now.
Right. So,
if you could add only one player to your squad from any of the other teams, which player would you choose?
Let's start that because Owen's looking the most uncomfortable. So let's start with Owen and we'll go that way.
I wouldn't change anybody in there. I did hear Ricky Ponting's part of Australia's coaching staff, so I'd take Ricky Ponting.
Right. Virat.
That's a very difficult question. Again, we feel we're such a strong side ourselves. But if I have to pick one guy, it has to be from the current lot, is it?
You can't choose AB, mate.
What? I was gonna say AB, but yeah, he's retired now. But I'd choose Faf.
Faf,
Good friends with Faf. Yeah, I would love to bat with him.
Just choose each other.
You're just going to choose, stuff.
I think for me, Josh Buttler.
Josh Buttler for you. Jason?
I don't want to be too boring like Owen, but I'm pretty happy with my squad as well. So yeah, Gulbadin can go on and answer this question, to be fair.
Right, Gulbadin?
I don't think so, anyone. So it depends on that day.
It depends on the day?
Yeah.
Right. This is a remarkable display of different answers of avoiding the question so far. You're screwed, by the way, because by the time we get to you, you're going to have no excuses left.
Me?
Yeah.
That guy. Virat.
You take Virat, right. Okay. Aaron?
It's a great question. I think one player that I'd love to play with, KG Rabada. I think that he provides so much with the ball and his energy. He's a superstar.
Good. Now, the pressure on you is whether you reciprocate what Virat's...
I'll pick a few players.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I think from a bowling attack right now in the moment in the world, there's a few bowlers that are hot. Bumrah is one of them. He's been bowling really well. As Virat was talking about, multi-format bowlers, like he's really good at the moment. Exciting spinner Rashid is going to make an appearance in 50-over cricket. I think he's a real good bowler. Pat Cummins from Australia, it's all X-factor bowlers. I think they would be, for me, I really want to see how they go this tournament, especially with a tournament where all the batting is so favourites.
Okay, so, you really think bowlers are going to win this tournament?
I think so. The wickets are good. Generally your batters will score runs on good wickets. My opinion is I think that the team towards the end of the tournament is going to be a team that's done really well with the ball. And as I said earlier, it's got capabilities of taking wickets even on flat wickets.
So you haven't picked Virat?
Virat is in my batting team.
All right, Virat's in
That was my bowling team.
Who would you
I
take
think,
for another team?
If I had the chance, I think definitely I will add Ben Stokes.
Ben Stokes.
Yeah, definitely. He is a game changer. So we know what he can do. I think one of kind of player, I think definitely will work for our team.
Okay, and Kane?
The mic's gone.
Oh, is your mic? What a time for your mic to fail.
Has it actually gone? Oh,
no.
Yeah, like...
oh, it
is gone.
It really did stop working there.
You put it off, yeah.
Am I there?
Yeah, you're there, yeah.
The bowlers will clearly play a big part in this tournament, despite what the scores are. He mentioned Rashid Khan, and he's always a pleasure to play with, so he'd be more than welcome in my team anytime.
Good answer. Great question. The microphone's at the back, and then we'll come from...
Yeah, hi. My question is for eoin and Virat. Virat, the first question to you was about handling pressure and everything. You've won a couple of World Cups for India as an under-19 cricketer, and then in 2011. Now you're the captain, the batsman, premier batsman of the side. How are you handling, the expectations of this summer? And similarly, eoin, England, everybody thinks they've changed the format altogether, with high scoring, high power. How are you dealing with that expectation that everybody has from England this summer?
Should we go first? So we always talk about why expectation is there. Expectation doesn't, come out of hot air. We have scored some quite high scores, particularly at home, and that's built a lot of confidence within the side. But we certainly believe expectation is there for a reason. Obviously, we've prepared pretty well, but a World Cup is a different kettle of fish. You still have to play against some of the best sides in the world, all the best teams in the world, to earn the right to get to the latter stages. And like every other side, we'll still have to do that regardless what has been before. So everything you've done, yes, it does contribute experience, performance, confidence going into the World Cup, but you still have to produce it then as well.
Stuart Broad said, Owen, that no previous international ODI English batsman would get into this top 7 at the moment. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Good, that was short and sweet. Right there, and then there's the guy behind the pillar there.
Sorry, English, but we're talking English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd agree with that.
We've got...
Hiya, Hamid Kayumi from BBC Afghan Service. A couple of questions, one to Virat Kohli and one to Gulbadin. Virat, you have played against Rashid in IPL, so I just thought, what's your opinion of him as a bowler and how hard it is to play against him? And to Gulbadin, the question will be in Pashto, so please if you could answer it in Pashto for our program. Lubdali tamu chamtuwale sanga de lubdala musumra chamtuda de World Cup de para o da warm up lobi shidi pade ki sagwade khpal lubgadu para malum kai.
I'll go first. Well, I've seen him bowl for 3 years now in the IPL, and this year was probably the first time I didn't play against him, and it was a pity that even he said that we could not face each other, so that was a pity. I really wanted to face him as well. But this was in 3 years, this was the first time I could sit outside and actually predict 9 out of 10 balls that he bowled. First time in 3 years, and that's how good he's been. He's just outstanding with his skill set. So, I mean, the pace on the ball, I think, is the key. The variations are really subtle, but he just doesn't give you any time on the ball. Forget flighting the ball; it just hits the bat so hard, and before you know it, it's through your pads, or you get bowled out, or you get LBW and stuff like that. So, and he brings that fast bowler intensity with him as a spinner, which is very rare to see. So, I love seeing competitive guys, and his attitude is absolutely outstanding. And I wish him the best, because when he's bowling well, you want to sit down and watch, and I think it's going to be very important for Afghanistan, and I wish him luck.
Gulbadin, can you just explain what the question was that you were asked?
It was on language. Sorry guys, I will be...
That's okay.
Team से उगोरे तो मैं आसुना से मुंकम preparation करे था, नो माशाल्लाह डेर ज़बरदस्त रवांदा, आउस आयरलैंड और स्कॉटलैंड की ज़िक्को मिलो भी, नो आगम ताउस कतली, नो उम्मीद है इंशाल्लाह हम दागा से दवाम हो साथी, नो इंशाल्लाह result बखाई.
Okay, the man behind the pillar.
Thank you. My question is from the Pakistani captain, Sarfraz. After the performance of Pakistan against England in the last few matches, you've decided to drop 2 players and then decided to pick up Wahab Riaz and Mohammad Aamir. How confident you are, in order to replace them too? Did you feel not confident enough with the other players, and you think, you're going to turn around with those 2 players being replaced in the team?
Definitely, definitely we lost the series, but because we picked Wahab Riaz and Mohammad Aamir, these are both our senior players. That's why we announced the 17 players, so we have opportunity to pick before the 23rd. So that's why we picked Wahab Riaz, because he know how to bowl in white ball and he bowl quick as well. So the way when we played against England, so we know, so you have to, your bowler, you has to bowl around 140 plus 145. So that's why we picked Wahab Riaz, and I'm very confident. They both are in my team. Also, Shadab also can be in the team also. So I'm very confident my bowling attack.
Probably got time for two more questions. The man on the front row has been waving, and then you've already had one. So you've already had one. I know. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
My question goes to Dimuth. Dimuth, they were talking about the bowlers in the matches, and one of your key bowlers, Lasith Maling, is not here yet. Is he injured? First question. Second one is that you have not played one-day cricket for a long period of time. How prepared are you?
I think Maling played IPL, so that's why he got arrested for the Scotland series, and he's coming tomorrow for join the team as well. For the second question, I think after the 2015 World Cup, I couldn't get a chance to play one-day cricket, but I played lots of Test cricket for the international crickets, and I played lots of domestic one-day games. So I think I had did really well in the domestic season. So I think that's why selectors have faith on me and try to they know how I can play in the one-day games, and now the Sri Lanka needs some the openers who can bat the longer period. So that's why I got a chance, and I'm trying to do my best in the one days as well.
And we have a final question. There's a man with his hand up there. So whoever's got the mic.
Puff. South Africa have never had a boring World Cup. It's always been dramatic and sometimes traumatic. How would you measure progress on, from what's gone before? What would you, at the end of this tournament, whatever happens, how will you say, right, we've gone forward as a World Cup team?
Yeah, good question. Something that I've obviously answered a few times in a few press conferences. For me, it's the guys that are here compared to the previous tournaments, teams that we've had. It's a lot younger in terms of the names that we have on the team sheet. With that names comes exciting opportunity, as Morg said, for younger players. We've got some players that's been in part of experienced campaigners that's been to World Cups. But there's absolutely no guarantee that South Africa will come here and win the tournament. For me, that's like the guys are saying, there's 10 high-quality teams. For us, there were some real good signs the way we played in the previous World Cup. Really enjoy that we started playing our best cricket towards the end of the tournament. Played a really good game against Sri Lanka in the quarterfinal, and then a fantastic game of cricket against New Zealand, which they were better than us on the day. So as long as we're doing that, that's all you can control. If you're playing your best cricket, if the opposition is better than you on the day, then you hold your head up high and say, well done.
Do you leave history for others to talk about?
You can't control the history.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's just something that I'm a firm believer in. You can't control the past or the future. All you can try and focus on is what's ahead of you. If that's good enough on the day, then it's great. If it's not, as I said, as long as the opposition is playing better than you, then it's okay.
I want to end it just with one question that you can all answer, because you've all been on, and it's a little bit twee, because I hate the question, how are you feeling in sport? But you've all been on different journeys to where you've got to now, and you're about to captain your country in a World Cup. So when you look back on your journey on the eve of the tournament, what are you feeling before captaining your country in a World Cup?
You might have to ask me on the eve of the tournament, eh? We've still got about a week to go. Yeah, look, I'm really excited to get into it, and for us it sort of starts before these warm-up games. It's very hard to simulate the exact intensity, so we're looking to get out of them what we need, but the squad is together now, and it's really important as a group that we gel. And sort of a little bit what Fuff mentioned is we want to be playing our brand, our style of cricket as well as we can, and focus on that throughout the next sort of 6 or 7 weeks or whatever it'll be.
Dimmer?
I think it's really exciting. Played a World Cup. It's a dream come true every player. I think we have 9 games. Not like the previous World Cups. So we have lots of matches. So we are trying to do our best. I know as a captain, for me it's not easy task, but I get the challenge, and I try to go with my boys and give them confidence and try to win matches. Each match when I play, we are taking one by one. So we are trying to do our best in each match.
Faf?
Yeah, same thing. I suppose everyone's going to say the same thing probably, but it's about a year or two of planning and putting teams together, putting players together, putting game plans together. Just excited for the tournament to actually start now. It's been a long process of looking forward to this World Cup, and in a week's time we'll get there.
You have a notebook, don't you, that you write everything in? Will you write thoughts before your opening World Cup match?
Yeah, no doubt I will. It's just something that, just how you're feeling and things like that, just as a reference, so you can go back to and try and get in the same state of mind as when you're playing well and things like that. That's more of a personal thing. But as a team, we're really excited. It's something that we've been together since the 2nd of May now as a group and building up. So it's been important for us not to try and put all our energy and focus into the preparation and the lead up. You can't win the World Cup before it started. So it's about staying as mentally and physically fresh as we can, as well as getting enough work in. And it's an exciting time. Anytime a World Cup comes around, it's a huge excitement. There'll definitely be nerves around, no doubt, as the tournament gets closer, and that's natural. So can't wait for it to get underway. I wish it was tomorrow.
Mashraf, will you be a nervous group ahead of the start?
Yeah, obviously nothing new from my side. I think everyone will be, talking about the same things. I think, yeah, boys, now everything is all about mental preparation. Tournament is very close. So obviously it's depend how we mentally get together and start well, and we are excited as a group.
Are you ready, Gulbadin?
Yeah, very excited. If you look back in qualifying rounds, so how we qualified to the World Cup, so very excited to be here and lead the team.
And Jason, for you personally, from the captaincy point of view, I was reading something this week where your quote was saying you thought you were too nice at the start as a captain and tried to please everybody.
Yeah, I guess it's something personally that I've had to work on over the last couple of years. It's obviously been a different dynamic and a different challenge for me personally, but I think if you look at it from a team's point of view, you think we're all excited. I think we can all share the same sentiments, and yeah, we just hope that the competition could be starting tomorrow as opposed to going through the warm-up games and just get straight into it. But it is what it is. We've got a long time here over the next couple of weeks, and hopefully we can enjoy playing here in England and lift the World Cup.
Will there be nerves and excitement in the Pakistan camp?
Oh, definitely. Firstly, great to be a part of this type of tournament, and really honored to be a captaining of the country in the World Cup cricket tournament. So, no, we all are ready to play and do well, inshallah, in this World Cup as a team.
Yeah, for me, it's a big honor to be captaining the Indian team at the World Cup, and the whole team, as every other team would be, they're excited, as well as a bit of nerves will be there before you play that first game. But I think as soon as you get into it, then all teams will know which direction they're heading in and what needs to be worked out. So from a general point of view, it's a great honor for me to be stepping out as the captain of the Indian cricket team in the World Cup.
And you sit there, Owen, in the kit that is a nod to the England team that got to the '92 final. Are you ready for what might happen over the next month, 5 weeks?
Yeah, I think we're as best prepared as we possibly could be. A bit like Finchy mentioned, we want the first game to be tomorrow. Get yourself into the tournament regardless of what happens. In many ways, you just want to play that first game. So, more than likely, put your head on the pillow the night before the first game, knowing that you've done everything possible to prepare your best for the tournament and to go out and do your best to try and give a good accountability of your country.
And to captain the host nation, I know you'll tell me it's not about you, but it's about the team, but to captain the host nation?
Oh, it's incredible. To put it into context, it's not something that I ever dreamed of. I always dreamt about scoring a Test match 100 as a kid, or scoring the winning runs in a World Cup final, but to captain a home World Cup is something I never dreamt of, so it's pretty special.
Thank you very much to all 10 of you for your thoughts and being part of it here. Ladies and gentlemen, the captains of the 10 nations at the Men's Cricket World Cup 2019.